Hi, this is Martha Thornburg, and I'm going to be your teacher for Digital Decisions, Technology for Educators, IT, and it's actually 344 and 442. So most of the class will be 442, but there will be a project added in that will get you the credit for the 344 as well. And this is an odd way to start a class, and I apologize for that. I like the idea that you guys are going to get to do some stuff online, but I just wish it wasn't the first class. So bear with me as I think through this process. It's a good thinking process for me to think how to use technology in a way to deliver instruction online like this, and to make it interactive and to encourage discussion and all of those things, even though we're not only is it an online class, it's not a synchronous class where we're meeting at the same time. So bear with me on this. I wanted to get you started by showing you that right down here at the bottom you'll see there is a link to a to this slideshow that we'll be doing using throughout. And so you can get that link there. I'm going to also take you on a little tour to show you how to find things in a minute, and you'll also see that you can get all of these links and things in the module for today in Canvas. So not quite sure what's happening. Hopefully we're still recording. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. All right, so this is one of these things that I normally do in person, and it seems a little silly to do it now. But the question that instead of me just introducing myself and telling you all about myself, usually I have my students take about 5 minutes to Google me, and then I ask them to introduce me. And this is not a narcissistic thing that I'm doing. It's just to show that we're all Googleable, and what comes up. So that's a good important lesson for our students to know, and for us as teachers as well. We're not only looking for all the bad stuff we might find that somebody has posted online, but also, do they have a positive digital footprint? And so just for fun, let's Google me and see what we can find out. All right, so when we Google me, the top thing that comes up is the fact that I'm highlighted on the OSPI site for a grant I got a long time ago for using innovative technology in my classroom. And so there's some things about that. You'll also see, you may see my dog right now. You'll also see some a bio that I have that tells about me and being a Google certified teacher here. So just a little information. You can find out more about me there. Whoops. In that picture, I'm actually in Kenya with my class, learning about Chinese New Year. You'll see my Twitter account. You'll see my LinkedIn account. You'll see some videos. You'll see things about my school, etc., etc. So the idea is, if we pop in here, we'll see my blog, my Facebook. You can't get very far on my Facebook page, and then you get into things that don't have anything to do with me, about my, people who have passed on and things like that. But you see my Google Plus page and all of that. So the idea is, in me doing this activity, as I said, is not to show off all the things that I've done, but to just promote the idea that we should have positive digital footprints. And since we didn't spend any time perusing any of those sites, I'll actually introduce myself a little bit better than that. So I am the digital literacy specialist in the Mount Vernon School District, and I also teach classes at Western, usually 1 or 2 a year, and it's this class that I'm teaching, and this time I'm adding the 344 as a component of this class. And I've been in Washington and in Mount Vernon for about 18 years. I'm originally from Texas. I have taught in all over the world. I've taught in Ecuador and Indonesia and Kenya, and on the Navajo Nation, and in Texas, and now here. Here in Mount Vernon, I taught elementary, 5th and 6th grade, before coming into the position that I have now in my district. Also, and before that, I taught pre-K up through 6th grade, all of the different grade levels. I got interested in technology when I was teaching internationally, because that was a great way for me to connect and communicate for both my students and for myself. And so that's the reason I did it. It was a way for me to create, connect, and collaborate and all of those things in faraway places. So I'm not a huge nerd when it comes to, all things technology, but I do love the fact that technology can connect us, and it can help us be creative, and it can help bring us together, and it can help provide us with resources that we need. So that's what you're going to hear from me when it comes to technology, is the importance of all those things for both us and for our students as well. Okay, as we get into this, I just want to explain how this video is going to work. I'm going to go through the slides and just pretend I'm teaching the class, and there's going to be some times in here where there's some interaction that I'm going to ask you to do, and you may have to go to a link and answer some questions or something like that. So you can just go ahead and do that. And then the other thing is that you can stop this at any time. You can hit pause and go get a drink of water, go to the restroom, walk your dog, whatever you need to do, and then you can come back to it. And if you wonder later, what did I say, you can always come back to it again. So, so please feel free to use the video in this way. That is one really nice thing about using tools like this video. I would not create a very long video like this for elementary students, but I would have a lot of really short tutorials that I create using a tool like this. I'm actually using a tool called Screencast-O-Matic, but the one that we'll use in class is called Screencastify. And the reason I'm using this other tool is because I can record for longer, but I don't recommend that you would need to record for a long period of time. Just little chunks of information that you can share. So today, like I said, we're going to introduce, and I've already introduced myself, and I'm going to get you guys to introduce yourselves in a minute. And we're going to also look at the schedule and the course, so you know what's coming up and what to expect. And we're going to set up a couple of accounts. You're going to be keeping all of your work in a digital portfolio. I'm going to pause for a second while my dog barks. Okay, back at it. You'll probably hear from my dog again, but that's okay, I guess. So, so we're going to talk about creating our digital portfolio today and try to get that set up. And like I said, look at the rest of the quarter. And we're going to start the actual work of the content today by looking at the Empowered Learner Standard, and that'll make more sense later on. I want to tell you that as we move through this course today, since this is our first course and we're not meeting face-to-face, I do want you to try to participate and try to do the things that I ask you to do. But if at any point you get to something and you're like, I can't do this on my own, I need help, don't worry. we're meeting next week together, and I'll be happy to answer questions and help you get on to what you need to be. I'm just hoping that you can watch the video today and participate as much as possible. So there are going to be a few assignments that are due next week, but if for any reason it's just you don't understand what to do or how to use the tool, then please know that I want you to try, but then don't freak out and don't spend hours and hours trying. Just try it, and if something's not working for you, write me a note, write yourself a note, and we'll check on it next week. Okay? And that'll be true for the whole time, but especially this very first time. I don't want you to start the class freaked out. And so please make sure that you do that. Okay. Okay. And this is something that I put in all of my presentations to remind myself that I always want my students to be doing this, no matter what class I'm teaching, whether it's a math class, reading class, science, whatever. I want us to spend some time creating, communicating, collaborating, and thinking critically. And we sometimes call these the 4 C's, and they tie in really well. We call them the 21st century learning skills. Of course, 21st, I think I said 24. 21st century learning skills. Of course, we are 18 years into that, so of course we should all be, and all of our students have basically, well, all of our students have lived their whole lives in the 21st century, and most of you probably have lived most of your life in the 21st century. So they're not new things, but we do want to make sure that we're paying attention to those. So that's just a filter that I always try to think of when I'm creating lessons. Okay, so first attempt at technology is that I want to show you this video, and I think I have this set up that I can just hit play and you can watch it from here. So we're going to give it a try.
People have been integrating technology in the classroom forever. What I think is really exciting about what we're seeing now is that technology is being used to fundamentally transform what the classroom is, fundamentally transform what you can do with the classroom.
I think to define technology integration, it's really using whatever resources you have to the best of your abilities. Technology, it's a tool. It's what you do with that tool, what you can make, what you allow the students to make. That's really what technology is about. If you can do this lesson without technology, that's great. But if you can do it better with technology, then that's why you use it. That's why you use tools.
This is a list of different applications that you can use to make music or do art. I've used it to record some of my personal narratives that I've written.
My eyes were drooping. I was drifting off to sleep.
Students today are creating using digital tools. They're not creating using analog tools. For us to feel like we really are connecting with our kids and to make learning fun for our kids and meaningful, we need to meet them where they are. Kids can create podcasts, movies, songs to express their ideas, express their thoughts, but also to express their learning.
When you create, you take ownership of your learning. You understand it in a very different way than if you just memorized something from a textbook, or if you just read it over and over again, or watched it in someone else's film. If you were able to translate that information into your own film, your own content, your own something to share, that's just amazing.
And sometimes they learn things we didn't expect them to learn. Like I had my second graders reflect on the project they did, and some of them said, I learned how to get along with somebody, or I learned how to work with somebody. This internet thing that has become a big part of our lives, it's really enabled people around the world to connect in ways we never imagined.
People always say that the kids respond better when they're able to share their work. Well, of course, because they have a valid audience. It doesn't go into a pile on the teacher's desk and then get handed back to their folder. Kids today can create stuff and share it with the entire world. And they have that authentic audience. They have people that actually not only will read it, but also care about it.
We have to make like a movie project, so you kind of you have a topic And with your topic, you speak into a microphone, and then you draw pictures to go with what you're saying.
If they have the link to our website, which they might like end up getting by searching something on Google, and then this might pop up. And so yeah, there is a chance of kids around the world, getting to see these videos.
The traditional academic model that we've inherited from the Prussians 200 years ago is we have a set amount of time to learn something, and then there's an exam. You get a B, I get a C, even though the exam identified that you have some basic weaknesses, I have even more weaknesses, we'll then move on to the next concept. So instead of doing that traditional everyone move together in lockstep model, with technology you have the potential to everyone learn at their own pace and master concepts before they move on. Have the teacher get real-time dashboards to see who's stuck on what. Something like that is a fundamental transformation of what a classroom is.
The role of the teacher has shifted. I'm truly seeing a world where the person who's in the role of teacher is really a facilitator. And if you can facilitate your students to create great work and work alongside with them to do that, that's amazing to me.
It's not about the mode of creation, it's not about the tool, it's about the learning, it's about the process, it's about the look on my students' faces, the fact that they can stay focused, motivated, engaged, and they're sharing ideas really makes learning joyful.
Okay, so that's a really nice overview video, and if for some reason you couldn't hear it or hear it well, please it's in the slideshow and you can go back and watch it on your own as well. Really nice, and I think it pinpoints the idea that it's not about the specific tools, and we're going to experiment and explore lots of different tools. I'm going to give you lots of choices about what you want to try. Throughout the time. I'm not going to say you must become an expert in any of these tools. You're going to get to choose and play with lots of different things. But the real power is in the strategies you use and what you do as a teacher, not what the tool does. And so I hope you'll learn that in this class and experience that. So, whoops. Yep. Okay. On we go, maybe. All right. So the first thing, I am unsure. I haven't worked with this cohort before, and I think you're a new cohort, so I'm not sure what you've done before either. So I'm unsure what you know or have done before. In this class, we'll be using our Google account that you have through Western. You may not know you have a Google account through Western, but you do. And Western does a lot of stuff with Office 365, and we won't be using that much in this class because you'll get that practice in other classes. They're both good tools, but in this class you're going to get a chance to explore the Google Suite, the G Suite for Education, and use those tools. So that's kind of the idea, that in other classes you'll explore using OneNote and some other tools like that. So in this class we're going to use other tools. So if you, it's very likely that you already have a Google account, a personal Google account, but you also have an account through Western. So if you go to google.com and you log in with your Western email and password, you should be able to log in and use your Google account there. And throughout the time I'll show you how to do different things with that. If you have any trouble with that, you can contact Western's help desk and they can help you get set up. But I went just today just to make sure that everything's set up, and I looked on their website and everything, and that's what it says for you to do. It's just go to Google and log in with your Western information, and it should work. So hopefully it does. All right, so make sure that you know how to do that and you've done that, because we will be doing several things where you'll be interacting in Google products, including your portfolio. That's the big one. Okay. And we're going to take just a little look at our syllabus. I'm going to pop over here to, sorry, thought I was already past this. I'm going to pop over here to Canvas. And that's another thing that you will be using a lot with your Western courses, but I don't know if you've used them a lot yet. So I'm going to pop in here to this class. And right now we're looking as a teacher, but I'm going to go to student view so you can already see. So it's going to look something like this for you. And I've put links to the 3 places we're going to go to the most. Modules is really the big one. And the other thing that we're going to look at is the syllabus. So let's click on, just because we're here right now, let's click on modules. And so what you're going to see in modules is anything that I've shared with you. So I have this, this top section that will always be available called class resources. And these are things you may refer to all throughout the quarter. And then each week I will try to put the slideshow. So this is the slideshow that we're looking at currently. And then any links to activities or assignments, anything that we're doing in this week, you'll see there. Now, currently, and that's not supposed to be there, but currently you only see week 1, except for that random week 5 one. But I will be adding the other weeks to it, and but I just wanted to see how far we got today, and so I haven't added any other weeks to that yet. So that is where you will find your information. So you'll see all of these are links to outside sites, and then this is an assignment, and this is an assignment. So you see the difference in the icons. Okay, so that is in Western. You'll also see over here in Western you've got a calendar, an inbox for assignments, for things that we've discussed. And then your assignments should show up here. So right now we have these assignments that we're going to be doing, etc. So that is a little bit about Canvas. That's where you're going to be jumping in and doing your assignments and things. I'll just show you here, so I'll click on the Empowered Learner one that we'll talk about later. So I've got the instructions, I've got a video to help you, all that kind of stuff here. There's a rubric. And then you'll notice up here that it says submit assignment. And so this is where you'll click the button, and for this particular activity, it's going to be a URL, because what you're going to be submitting is a link in your digital portfolio. So that's going to be there, and then you click Submit Assignment. So that's how you're going to be turning in work in this class. And I know I'm going kind of fast, but the beauty of a video is that you can stop this and rewind it and just watch it as many times as you need to. So I am going to continue to go a little bit fast. All right. Okay, so that's our course syllabus. Oh, I didn't really look at the course syllabus. Let's take a quick look at the course syllabus here. The course syllabus is rather long, just because of all the stuff that Western makes me put on it. I'm going to go back here a little bit. So basically the first page, you got some information about how to connect with me and purpose of the course, etc. Please feel free to read whatever you need to read on that page. You'll see here on the second page, these are kind of the major assignments and how much they're worth and when they're due. And this is the yellow part here is kind of the what we're going to focus on in class. And then this is, to me, I think the most important page, and that is the actual schedule, the syllabus. Hang on. Okay, do any of you have a small child or a large dog like me who, when you start concentrating on something else, they let you know that they're more important than all of that? That's what my dog is doing right now. So I apologize for that. But he's just looking for ways to get in trouble, so I'll pay attention to him. All right, so here is our list. So we've got 8 weeks, and you'll notice that I have it listed which classes are online, and then the times that we're meeting for the other class. And I will talk about this each week so we know what we're doing the next week. You'll notice on the 19th, our class is in the afternoon. I just wanted to confuse you a little bit. Not really, but that just is how it worked with my schedule. All of these things over here, I will try to keep to those major topics each week. We'll see how each week goes. I may have to alter some of that. That's what good teachers do, is they reassess after each little bit of learning to make sure that they don't need to make any adjustments. So I claim that I might need to do that. So, okay, so that is the syllabus. Going back here. All right. So our first little bit of interaction, you've been listening to me talk for quite a while. So we're going to use a tool called Padlet. This is one of my favorite interactive tools to use with students. It works with kindergarten, it works with college students, it works with all kinds of people. And so for this particular activity, we're going to click on this link right here, and that link is in your modules if it's easier for you to get to that way. It's going to be hard for me to hit this button. Oh, I can do it this way. Okay, so what you have here is just this blank pad right now, and it's a question. It says, getting to know you. Share your answer to the question on this post. 1 post per person. Be sure to include your name. And I said that twice. Name, grade level band you would most like to teach, favorite subject, languages you know, and 1 interesting fact. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how we would do that. So hopefully I can see this little box pops up when I click. There's actually a little plus in the corner, but I can't see it because my face is there. So I would write my name, and then I would say, let's see, what am I supposed to say? I teach professional development, and I love social studies, and I speak English well, and some Spanish, Swahili, Navajo, and Indonesian. Let's see, what else am I supposed to say? 1 interesting fact. 1 interesting fact about me is that I have taught on 4 different continents. Okay, so that's my little post, and you'll notice down here there's some ways for you to add media. And so I'm going to click on this little more button so you can see all the ways you can add media. Okay, so I'm going to choose Snap because I have a camera here. If it's going to let me. I'm not sure it's going to let me, so I'm going to try something else. Okay, I think it's not going to let me because of the fact that I'm using the camera to record this, but you could take a picture of yourself. But because I can't take a picture of myself, I'm going to draw a picture of myself. So here I am. And I'm working on a touchpad, so I'm not going to really draw a picture of myself. There we go. Let's give me some hair and a ponytail. There we go. Here I am. Okay, so and then I'm going to hit save. Ta-da! Okay, so I would like for everybody to do that. So you're going to add the information, your name, and then information about yourself, and then add some kind of media. It can be a video, it could be a picture, it can be a drawing. Play around with that and see what looks good to you. So in the end, we are going to be able to see everybody's different thing on here. So that is our getting to know you activity. I'm going to keep going here. Remember, if those instructions need to be repeated, just go back and listen to them again. Listen and look. Okay, and now we're going to do another activity. And so earlier we watched the video about tech integration, and this is an activity that I do want to share. It works way better when we're in a group, because the power of this is the fact that that you're talking to each other and coming up with ideas and discussing things together. Unfortunately, in this first class, we're not going to be able to do that. So I am going to use this tool today, but we'll use it again in a better way later on in the quarter when we're all together. So what I've done is I created a Google Sheet. So this is a spreadsheet, but we're not really using it like you normally think of using a spreadsheet. And I share this because that's one of the beauties of working with the Google tools, is everything is so easy for people to collaborate on. And so in this case, you're going to put your name over here, and then you're going to write what you think tech integration looks like in the classroom. And I just gave a very brief example just so you'd see where things go. So everybody has their own little spot. So if somebody's already writing in a spot, don't jump in and write on their spot. Now, if we were actually all sitting down and doing this at the same time, even if we weren't in the same place, it's still very cool to do this activity, even if it is online, if we're all online at the same time together, because you can see each other's ideas pop up while you're writing. And we learn from each other, not just from the teacher. And so that is what this activity is for. So take a few minutes to think about what you think tech integration looks like in the classroom, and then also to add that information here. And just a few little pointers on this. So another thing about the Google tools is when you're working on something like this, right now I have this wide open. And if you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to have middle school students and they are going to write things I don't want them to write, or they're going to mess with somebody else's stuff, or all of those kind of things. So of course you need to kind of keep all of that in mind. So you could have it set up to where this is done on a form so they can't see each other's work, and we'll talk more about that. Or, but if they do mess something up, there's always the revision tool, so you can go back to an earlier version and you don't lose all your work. So if you're working on this and you realize you messed it up, because sometimes we delete somebody else's work and we didn't mean to, you can go back to the revision history and put things right. Or you can tell me and I can do it. So don't worry about that piece. So the assignment is simple. You're going to click on this link. It will take you here. You're going to write your name, and then you're going to write what you think tech integration looks like in the classroom. There's not one right answer. You may give examples. You may just have a, like I just did a really generic idea here. Okay. So I know that'll take you a while, but I'm just going to keep going because I know you can stop and come back to this. All right, so we've already kind of talked about Canvas and the things that are going to be available to you on Canvas. So I'm going to continue on. I want to just talk about a little bit about attendance. That's going to be interesting in this class because we're going to be attending in different ways. So this first class, as you know, is just, it's, you know, we have a set time, but we're not doing anything together. So it doesn't really matter what time you're watching this video. But of course, when we are in class, I'm going to make the best use of that time as far as time that we're doing hands-on things and that we're collaborating with each other, etc. So it's going to be very important that you be there to get all the information and be able to fully participate in the activities. Also, even when I'm not, when we are doing the online classes later, we will do some that we're all together doing like a webinar at the same time, and in those cases it's very important that we're all online at the same time. So we'll talk about that in class, but this week is different because I have no time to explain that to you ahead of time, so we will practice that before we do it as an expectation. Okay, and kind of what I'm talking about here is a blended learning model, and that's where you provide the delivery of content and instruction in a variety of ways. So so the idea is, the real idea for blended learning is not so your teacher can be camping on Vancouver Island. The real idea for blended learning is the idea that there are some things that don't need teacher contact or other student collaboration, those kind of things that students can do on their own and be ready for really rich conversations, really rich collaboration, be ready with their questions for the teacher and all that kind of stuff. So the idea is that a lot of that stuff that that just, you know, like reading an article or watching a video or working some problems to check your, you know, to see if you understand how to do something, that stuff doesn't have to be done with everybody sitting in a classroom together. And it's actually more valuable when some of that stuff can be done in another way. And then when you are in class and you do have that time with the teacher and the other students, you can have those really valuable conversations because you're not spending the time doing that background work. So that's kind of what blended learning is, and we're going to practice that in class as best we can. Another model that we really see blended learning in elementary school is in a small group model. So a teacher may be working with one group of students face to face, and there's different groups happening. So one or more of the groups, there's some kind of lesson happening where the teacher doesn't have to be present for the students to practice something, or maybe the teacher's recorded a video that the kids can watch and do the activity, so that when they get to the teacher group, they're ready with their questions, or they can show their understanding and the teacher can work from there. So that's probably the model you're going to see most in the elementary classroom. And we're going to, like I said, practice as much of that as possible in this class. Okay, and our class time is going to be on Thursdays. For the most part, when we're meeting together, our class is starting at 8:30 and ending at the latest at 12:30. Sometimes I'll send you off to work on things on your own a little bit before that. As I said, it's important, just because the schedule is crazy this summer, to pay attention to the syllabus and make sure, is it an online class? Make sure if you know that we're all meeting online at the same time. Also, you know, pay attention to that one day, the 19th, where it's an afternoon class instead. Okay? And we'll talk more about assignments, but just, you know, as you're trying to figure out what we're going to be doing this quarter, the big assignments that we're going to have are digital portfolio, and that's where all of your work that you do is going to live. And We'll talk more about that in a little bit. You're going to be creating a lesson plan. At the end, you're going to be creating a vision video, about a 2-minute video that just kind of explains your thoughts on how to integrate technology in the classroom. And then every week we're going to look at a different standard, and you'll understand what that means when we talk about the standards later. And then you're going to create something that shows your understanding of that standard, so that's going to be an activity. You're also going to be looking for resources and people and websites and things like that that you can use to continue to learn. So that's another activity. And then anything we do in class, like the activity that we just did with the Padlet and the sheet, all of those things would go under class activities. And then new for me, for this is kind of a backwards thing, because the prerequisite to the IT 442 is IT 344, which is a 1-hour class, and 442 is a 3-hour class. So this, and what you do in that 1-hour class is a research project where you make sure you have some of the skills you need in order to integrate technology. So we're going to be pulling that research project into what we're doing throughout. And so that will be another assignment that you have. And we'll talk more about that later. Don't worry about it right now. But just so you know how it's identified there. So all you have to worry about right now, you can take a look at this, but all you have to worry about is what I show you today. And the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to create our digital portfolio. So as I said, we're going to be using Google Sites, and I'm going to show you how to get started in just a minute. And then I've also, on our modules in Canvas, I put a link to a video tutorial and also a written tutorial. So if you're having any questions or concerns, you can look there as well. The other thing that I have for you is I have a demo that shows you how we're going to organize our portfolios. I'm a big believer in choice and creativity and all of those things, and I love for us to be able to do that. And so in your portfolio, you are going to have a chance for choice and creativity, but as far as the organization goes, the way that it's going to make sense for grading and all of that is if we all have the same organization. So I'm going to show you how to organize your site. Okay, and so we're going to look more at the site in a minute. But keep in mind when you're creating this site and that a portfolio like this is a great tool to use to share with potential employers. I says employees here, but it should say employers. So when you're ready to go out and interview for a job, if you have a nice portfolio that you can share the principal who's interviewing you, they will be impressed and they will get to see some of what you can do. So you can think of that. You can add to this portfolio and add other content, not just your technology stuff, after this class is over. So it's something to think about as you work through this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I am going to show you how to get to a Google site. And there's lots of different ways. It's in your Google Drive, but right now the way I'm going to show you is if you just type in Google Sites, it should take you there. Okay, so here I am, Google Sites, and this took me to the wrong one because I have a million different accounts. So yeah, check to make sure that you're in the account you want to be in, the Western account, and then you'll see here, mine looks like this because this is the old Google Sites. What you want to do is click on the new Google Sites. And yours is not going to have all of these things in it yet, but it will have a button that says Create. And it's down here and I can't get to it right now because of where I am. So this is where you'll go to create a new site. wonder if that'll let me. I wonder if I can move this guy. I can. Yay. Okay, so this little button here, I would go to create a new site. And like I said, there's other tutorials besides what I'm talking about right here that, that you can look at later. I'm going to put this over here for right now. And this is what your page starts off looking like. And I'm just going to show you a couple of things. You know, if you come in here, you can say my tech, digital literacy portfolio, or whatever you want to call it. And you give it a name, so maybe Thornburg DL, and call it whatever you want. Don't call it Thornburg, but call it what makes sense for you. And you'll notice I can move my title around. I can stretch it out. These little blue buttons here let me stretch it out. Everybody wants to, of course, know, can I make it look prettier than that? So you can change the image here. And there's already some images in there that you can use. And I went to the wrong place. So if I go to select, if I go to select image, they've got a gallery of images you can use here. So just for now, I'm just going to click this. But you can go through this gallery, or you can find your own pictures from searching your Google Drive, etc. So there we go. You can also change what kind of header. So you can have that's a brand new one. The cover's a brand new one today. I was working on this yesterday. So you can just do a title, or you can do a banner, or a large banner. Or now this cover, which I haven't played with at all, so I will have to leave that to you. You'll notice up here that you've got some buttons for different things, so you can see it like this. Take a tour will give you some more information in the help button here. So the publish here is like share. So if I click on publish, not share, like save, it will ask me what I want the web address to look like, and so I can change that last little bit here. It will also tell me who can view my site. And I am working in my Mount Vernon School District site. You'll be working in your Western, but you want to click Manage, and you want to change that to anyone can find and view your published version. Otherwise it gets crazy confusing. Okay? So publish. So now when I'm working, every time I need to save it, I'm going to hit the publish button. So anytime I do more work on it, I need to remember to hit the publish button. If I forget, all it does is it doesn't publish it out to everybody else, but I still have my work that I've done in here already, it doesn't go away. So the next time I come in, I can hit the publish button and it'll show up for everybody. But that is important to know. If you're sharing something with me and you haven't hit publish, I'm not going to see it. So to make sure of that. Okay, so here's the cool thing about this Google Sites. It's super simple to use. So right now we're on the insert page and we just have one page here. But to add something, if I want a text box, I just click that and a text box pops up. And I can change the size of my text box. I can move my text box. I can use normal text or heading or title. I can make it bold, italic. I can change the alignment. I can put links in here. All kinds of different things. So you've got lots of different options with that. Lots of options. Okay, same thing with images. You have all different ways to find the image that you want. I like to use search a lot for this. And so I'm going to type in okay, and I like that picture, so I'm going to add that. Has nothing to do with digital portfolios, but hey, why not? And I can change my image size. I can move it around. I can put it on a different line, etc. So you have lots of options once you put the pictures in. This is one that you're going to use a lot, and that's the embed code. So, anything, I'm trying to think real quick. I'm going to go to, see if I can do this fast. Powtoon. Powtoon is one of the presentation tools that you'll probably explore during this time. Let's see if I can get there real fast. Okay. Not as fast as I'd like to right now. Come on. Okay. So I'm just going to grab a video here. This is just, I'm just trying to give you an example of something. Let's see if I can do it with this. Let's see. So here's something I've created. I have no idea what it is right now, but I'm going to hit the More button. Nope. I'm going to hit the, Edit button. Got to figure out where this is. I'm making this too difficult. I'm going to hit the pause first. Okay, so if this was my work that I created for my lesson, it's not, just an example. I would hit export here, and one of the things that I can do is I can share with an embed code, and you'll see this on all kinds of sites. That's the reason I'm sharing just a random site with you. So when you click share on any of these creation tools, usually one of the ways you can share is with an embed code. And you can also share with a link and different things. So, but the embed code. So, yeah, just going to leave it like that. And it's going to give me a code. It will. Eventually it will give me a code. Okay, so here's the code. And so whenever you are asked to share an embed code, and I have another video that says this better than this, but anyway, so whenever you're ready, you just copy that gobbledygook. You don't have to understand it. You just copy it, and then you go to your portfolio. I click embed. It's going to ask for the embed code, and I'm going to paste it. And then whatever I'm embedding is going to show up there. Insert. Ta-da! Okay. There'll be a lot more examples of that, so don't worry about that. But that is how you embed stuff. But the coolest thing about the Google Sites is as we work through all of the different activities that we're going to do, we're mainly going to be using things that are Google products in Google Drive. And so anything that is in our Google Drive, we can easily embed into our digital portfolio. So I'll just grab a doc here. Everything's kind of slow. I'm not going to wait because it's too slow right now. Okay, Okay, so I found a document here. I just hit insert and it pops right in there, and you can change the size so it makes more sense, etc. Okay, so that is a very quick and dirty of just how you get in and play with your Google site. So what I'm going to ask you to do today, I'm going to show you one more thing, but what I'm going to ask you to do today is I would like for you to actually create, like get it started, your Google site. And by that I mean you're going to go to Google Sites and you're going to give your thing a name, and you're going to hit the publish button and give it a web address. Then you're going to copy that web address, and that's what you're going to turn in on the assignment that says Digital Portfolio Setup. Okay? You're going to copy this link, and you're going to share that link with me by turning in that assignment. Okay? That is what the assignment is for Digital Portfolio Setup. You don't have to complete your portfolio. Every week we're going to be adding to our portfolio. Okay? So know that. Now, the other thing I want to show you, and if you don't feel comfortable doing this week, then we can set this up in class together the next week. But I do want to show you because you may feel just plenty comfortable with this. So I have set up a demo, and I have this in your links. So this is a demo that shows how your digital portfolio is going to be set up. So these are the different pages that you're going to have, and it shows you what's going to go on each page and all that. So you can click through this and get an idea of what yours is going to look like. So I'm going to go back to, I've lost my thing. I'm going to go back to this, which is not a very good example, to show you about pages. So you saw on this example that there's several different pages. So if I click on Digital Citizen, it takes me to a page. If I click on Lesson Plan, it takes me to a page. So over here in our one that I was just showing you, if you want to add pages to, because this is right now it's just one page, if I click on the pages area here, to add a page, you just click this button down here, call it whatever it needs to be, like research project is one of the things, and hit done. And you have this new page where you would put your research project. So now if I click publish, and if I look at what my site looks like now, you'll notice if I'm on the home page, and then now I have another page called Research Project. So that's how you're going to set up your different pages. Okay. Move this guy back over here. Breathe, pause, take a restroom break, drink some coffee, whatever you need to do. And we're going to keep going here. Like I said, I'd like for you to at least get your portfolio so it has an address. And if you need more help with other things, we can do that later. Okay, so we're moving on, and this is an incredible video that I want you to watch. And I'm going to show you how. The site is called PlayPosit. It is a tool that you can use with any YouTube video. And the YouTube video that we're going to be using is a video of Jenny Magiera, who is a digital literacy specialist in Chicago. And she presented at a conference a few years ago, and I just love this video, and you're going to love it too. So, but I used a tool called PlayPosit, and what PlayPosit does is it takes a YouTube video, and then you as a teacher can stop the video and ask questions along the way. So this is just a way to add interactivity to a class when we're not meeting face-to-face. So you can stop and we can kind of have a conversation, a discussion about what's happening in the video. Or this is a good way to make sure that your students are actually watching the video and thinking about the you know, answering the questions you want them to ask and that kind of thing. So we'll look at Play Pause It when we're together. I'll show you the back end and what it looks like as a teacher. But for now, what you're going to do is you're going to click on that link, and it's going to take you here, and you're going to click play. Maybe it'll let me do this from here. And it's going to start showing the video.
Please.
It's going to ask for your name. Whoops.
Join me in welcoming Jenny Magera.
And then it'll stop anytime that I've stopped in here and give you more explanation about what you're going to be watching and what you're going to be doing. And then after you've read it, you can hit continue.
So what I want to do before we get started.
And I'm not